How are you doing today? How is today going? And welcome or welcome back to African Xhosa ASMR. In today's video, I wanted to mix and match whispering with soft spoken. Hope you will enjoy the mixture of the two ASMR voice types. Okay, great. Today I wanted to teach you, yes, you, Xhosa idioms and famous proverbs. Absolutely, and today's video I will be sharing some of those with you. They are very famous, and they happen to be Xhosa. I hope that you will like them. What I will do is read them, a selected few from this article that I came across. I will firstly read them and then tell you what each and every single word means, the direct meaning of each word, and then the direct meaning of the sentence, and then after that I will give you the translation of the metaphor behind each and every single one of them. Okay. Yeah. Once again, this was a requested video. I hope you guys will enjoy watching it. I will put the link to the article where I got them from, and if my memory serves me correctly, this article was by someone who is not Xhosa, who just happened to be fascinated by the culture and wanted to learn more about it, and started to share some of the idioms and common Xhosa proverbs. So I want to share them with you. Okay, great. Without further ado, I hope you said it. What is it exactly that I hope you said? Without further ado, let's get started. Maskhangeleke, mazindawuni, where were they? Okay, the title of the article is Unique African Xhosa Idioms and Proverbs, and it is by Patricia, who is not Xhosa but loved them. I already know them, but I just wanted to share them with you as well. And I wanted to make my job easier by just looking up what is already written on the internet. So, unique African Xhosa idioms and proverbs. Among African languages, the Xhosa language is embodied with idioms, proverbs, and figurative expressions, drawing from a rich culture and history. I'm sure we can all agree on that. Okay. And then it says, some of these African idioms and proverbs are readily understood by any English speaking person, but whilst others, if literally interpreted, appear to be meaningless. I wouldn't say meaningless per se. I would say they would appear to be confusing. I think confusing is a more appropriate word to use than meaningless. I don't think there's anything meaningless. It just depends on your perspective and how you see it. Okay, great. Now, let's get started with the idioms. Now let's read the very first idiom I want to share with you, and it is akukho mpukane inqakulela enye. Akukho mpukane inqakulela enye. Akukho meaning there is no. Akukho, something that is absent, it's not present, it's not there. Ayikho. Mpukane is a fly. Ukunqakula is to catch something. Ukunqakula is to grab something. Enye means another one. DJ Khaled, another one. Enye. So, what does akukho mpukane enqakulela enye mean? Well, let's see. Patricia says, one fly does not provide for another. Which, yes, that is the meaning, the direct or literal meaning of it is there is no fly that catches food for another fly. So I'm pretty sure based on the literal meaning you have a general idea of what the figurative meaning is. Right. Well, the meaning of it is that it is a saying of indigenous to the idol, meaning that each should work for himself as the flies do. Each should work for himself as flies do. Umntu nomntu uyazisebenzela njengazo nazo impukane. You should get yourself out of a situation. You shouldn't rely on other people, but rely on yourself. Another one, which is cliquey, which has the same meaning as this one, it says ixoxo nexoxo liyazigxumela. Wena ufuna ukugxunyelwa ngubani? Which means everybody works for themselves or provides for themselves. Who do you want to provide for you? Who do you want to work for you? You should work for yourself. You should try to get yourself out of a situation instead of putting or relying on other people to get you out. Try by all means to do it for yourself. Basically means that. Okay, great. And then the second, very second idiom I would like to read for you is Isikuni sinyuka nomkhwezeli. Let's just wait for the car. I am so grateful for you guys. You actually enjoy or find my background noises relaxing. You love the chickens. You love the cars. I'm just like so grateful that you like, you know what? Just leave them in. We actually like them instead of complaining and say, get rid of that. Why is there that noise? You very like kind, sweet and gentle people. I'm so grateful for that. So yeah, thank you. Isikhuni sinyuka nomkhwezeli. Isikhuni is a stick, you know, like the stick that you get and together around to make fire. You call that stick the dry stick. Call it ikuni basically. And then ukwenyuka is to climb up. Enyuka, climbing up. Umkhwezeli is the person who is preparing the fire and blowing into it, you know, to make sure that it flourishes or it doesn't die down. So the act of blowing into the fire that you've made using firewood, like that act is called ukukhwezela. So isikhuni sinyuka nomkhwezeli, meaning that stick, the rate at which it burns in a fire is dependent upon the person who blows into the fire. If you're constantly blowing into the fire, you will get more fire, and then the wood or the stick is going to get shorter, quicker. You know what? That's exactly what it means. So let's see what it means. So it says this proverb is an exact equivalent to our English one, which says, let sleeping dogs lie. Let sleeping dogs lie. Let me try to see on the internet what let sleeping dogs lie. Let sleeping dogs lie meaning. It says a phrase let sleeping dogs lie is a reminder not to bring unnecessary risk or danger upon oneself. So that is basically I think my neighbor's sweeping. Let's just wait. Okay, and then let's see the next one. Let's see this next one. The next one says Ishwa lomhluzi wamanqina. Ishwa lomhluzi wamanqina. Ishwa or ilishwa is a misfortune, you know, a misfortune. Umhluzi is a soup. It's a soup, and it's the thin soup. That's just water and salt or something. That kind of soup that's not thick. The thin soup is called umhluzi. Amanqina are feet. Amanqina are feet. In this context, it's relating to a amanqina of an animal. It could be a sheep, it could be a cow, it could be a chicken, it could be... I am so sorry, you guys. I'm so sorry. I had to come this side to finish the rest of the video, because my neighbor is spring cleaning and they're making a lot of noise where I have my black background. I like the black background side because it's quieter, but today the side is close to the road, so you hear the cars a bit louder, but I'll try to edit them out. Okay, great. Where was I? I had finished reading Ishwa Lomhluzi Wamanqina, right? Hopefully. Ishwa Lomhluzi Wamanqina. You do know that when you are cooking something, yes, umhluzi is gravy. I was like, soup. I don't think it's a soup, it's gravy. Umhluzi is gravy. So what does that mean? What does it mean, you wonder? It means that or it is applied to any person who never does well but is always getting into scrapes. The kind of soup spoken is very lightly esteemed by many. So what a shame. Instead of saying that, you say Ishwa Lomhluzi Wamanqina. Ishwa Lomhluzi Wamanqina. And then after that we have Indonga Ziwelene. Indonga Ziwelene. Indonga Ziwelene. Indonga Ziwelene. Indonga is wall. The wall is Indonga. A wall, udonga. Ukuwa is to fall. Ukuwa is to tumble down. So when you say Indonga Ziwelene, ukuwelana is to fall on each other. Okay? Indonga Ziwelene means the walls have come into collision. The walls have come into collision, or you could say the walls fell on each other. That is what I would have said. So this is said of any dispute between persons of consequence. So if like best friends are arguing, or people are just arguing, or like a couple or something like that, you normally, and then they like the argument is so intense that they could turn into enemies, you would say Indonga Ziwelene. At this point, I seriously don't know if I should continue with this video or just stop, because the other side, the neighbors spring cleaning, and this side they are filming a movie on the street, and they keep like you're hearing like tweet sound. If you're hearing it, it's because there is a rotary, something that they're using for filming that movie. And if you follow me on my Instagram, I sometimes like show videos along my street when they're like filming movies. I guess it's used for filming movies. It's quiet, it's peaceful, so the movie people just want to come here and disturb us by filming movies. But yeah, it's okay, it's great. Should I continue? At this point, I just think you would be watching it for the purpose of listening and learning. At this point, I'm just gonna try to keep quiet and start over when it's quiet, because it's noisy both sides. And then we have uvuthelwe phakathi njengevatala. Uvuthelwe phakathi njengevatala. Uvuthelwe phakathi njengevatala. Ukuvutwa is to be ripe. Ivuthiwe, it is ripe. Ukuvutwa could refer to fruit when it's ripe. Ukuvutwa can refer to food when it is ready. When you've cooked food and it is ready to eat, you say kuvuthiwe ukutya, it's ready to eat. And then when you say ivuthiwe, you're referring to fruit as well. You know what I mean? Food and fruit. When the food is ready, when the fruit is ripe. Ivuthiwe. Phakathi means inside, and then njenge meaning just like. Vatala means watermelon. Uvuthelwe phakathi njengevatala means he or she is ripe inside, just like a watermelon. Ripe from the inside, just like a watermelon. So with a watermelon, you cannot really tell whether it's ripe or not by just looking on the outside. The only way to find out is if you cut it and look and see, oh, it is ripe or it is not ripe. The only way you can tell is if you open it. Open it, open it, open it, open it, open it, open it, open it. So, in this context, it is said to one who came to a resolution without yet expressing it. From its appearance, it cannot be said with certainty whether a watermelon is ripe or not. Just like I had been saying. So if a person has reached a resolution but yet has not yet expressed it, you would say uvuthelwe phakathi njengevatala. Uvuthelwe phakathi njengevatala. And then we have the next one. The next one is very famous, actually. It's very famous. A lot of people know it, including me, who I will just tell you a small story about it, just after reading it, of course. It says, Isala kutyelwa siva ngolophu. I do not know it with the word siva. Siva. It is famous when the word siva has been replaced with sibona. Ukuva is to hear something. Ndivile, I heard about it. Ukuva is to feel something. Uyivile, did you feel it? Uyivile, did you hear about it? So, to hear or to feel, ukuva. But how I know it? That word ukuva is replaced with ukubona. Ukubona, to see. Ubonile, did you see? Ndiyabona, I can see. Now, let me just explain it, how I found out about this. Growing up, my grandmother would use a lot of these, like idioms. And around December holidays, the entire family, my parents and my siblings, would all go to my grandmother's house, to just visit her, to spend Christmas with my grandmother. The entire family would go, my aunts and uncles with their kids. We would all be at my grandmother's place, right? We'll be at my grandmother's place. And my grandmother is like, she speaks deep Xhosa. You would not understand what she's saying because she speaks deep Xhosa. So when it is time to play, I would play with dolls and then get bored. But my cousins and my my younger sister, they wouldn't get tired of playing with their dolls. I'm like, can we play something else? Like, can we just go outside and play something else? I'm tired of playing with dolls. Can we maybe like climb a tree or something? Climb a tree, or just ride a bike. Can we do something different? So they would not want to. So I would go to my grandmother's garden and climb a tree. We had a lot of trees, like a mango tree, a guava tree, an avocado tree, a lot of trees. My grandmother has a lot of fruit. So I would climb one of those trees, or I would just climb the fence. So there's a long fence at my grandmother's house. So I would climb up that fence that leads to the garden. Just like climb it up. It's so long so that animals couldn't get in or stick their neck to try to eat from what is inside the garden. So there's a long fence in the garden. I would climb up that fence as if I'm rock climbing or something, or I would ride a bike. So all these things were dangerous, right? You climb a tree, you're gonna fall. You climb the fence, you're gonna get bruised, or you're gonna fall. You ride a bike, the same thing applies. So I would sometimes fall and get hurt, and my grandmother would see a bruise and something and try to nurse it, and she'll be like, don't go there again, don't climb the tree again, don't climb the fence again, maybe just leave the bike for now. But no, I would not listen. I would continue climbing the tree and continue exploring. So she would always say, isala kutyelwa sibonwa ngolophu, isala kutyelwa sibonwa nolophu. I would be like, what do you mean, Grandma? What do you mean by that? What do you mean, Grandma? And she would then explain it. I was like, oh, shh. She would then explain it, and then I'd be like, oh, now I see. Now I get it. So let me just tell you what the translation is. It says, a person who will not take advice gets knowledge when trouble overtakes them. And I would personally translate it as, if someone tells you or warns you about something and you do not listen or take their advice, you will learn by seeing what they warned you about happening to you, or experiencing it for yourself to feel it, or experiencing it for yourself to see, okay, this thing really happens this way. So when they were saying don't put your hand on the fire, you're gonna get burned, and you proceeded to put your hand on the fire, you will see your hand getting burned. Like, okay, this is what they mean. Or you will feel it, that the fire is hot, and then you will want to, because you've now see what they meant. So this is how I would explain it. Now let's move on to the next one. The next one is inja yomoya. Inja yomoya. Inja is a dog. Umoya is the wind. So the dog of the wind, I would say it like that. But here it says the dog, or it also says the dog of the wind. It would be weird if it said something else. The dog of the wind. So you're wondering, the dog of the wind? That does not make any sense. This is a saying applied to anyone who has no settled plan of living. So you're basically going with the wind. You're just going with the wind. Wherever the wind lands you, you're just there. You do not plan anything. You just see it as it happens. You are the dog of the wind. Dog of the wind. A person with zero plans. No plans at all. No plans. No plans. No plans. If you have no plans, you are the dog of the wind. The dog of the wind. And then after that, we have Ngumpha wezala. Ngumpha wezala. Umpha is a cob. So it is a cob stripped of maize in an ash pit. A cob that is stripped of maize in an ash pit is Umpha wezala. So what does that mean? Said of a worthless character. Nasty, nasty, you nasty character. Ungumpa wezala. Ungumpa wezala. Umpa wezala. And then we have isinama ndokunamathela. Isinama ndokunamathela. Isinama. Well, I know isinama as isinama, which is a Xhosa term, but I'm going to try to describe it to you. Hopefully you will know it. Hopefully you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Hopefully you know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, if you are someone who has seen beans, which are still in the bean thing, so if you grow beans in your own garden and then you're taking them out, they're still intact in the bean shell. They're still in their shell, right? And then you open the shell, then you find the beans inside. There is also a type of grass, just like a grass that has, to me at least, that looks like that bean shell. It's green and also kind of has the same shape. And then when you walk in that grass, it just sticks to you. It just sticks to you. And it's very difficult to get that grass out, but it's just like green, has those things. That grass is called isinama. That grass is called isinama. Ukunamathela is to stick to something. Namathele, it's stuck, or sometimes you say ingamathele because it's stuck or it's sticky, something that's sticky. Yangamathela or yanamathela. So isinama, siyanamathela, something that sticks to you. So let's just see what this article says. It says, the adhesive grass, will stick fast to you. That's what this person says. It says, so like I've explained, the isinama is a kind of a grass that sticks to one's clothing when it is touched and can hardly be brushed off afterwards. This proverb is used as a warning to anyone to avoid bad habit or an unworthy companion that cannot easily be got rid of. So simply means or has the same meaning of show me your friends and I'll show you your future kind of vibes. Because why? Your friends' character is most likely to rub off or influence you as well. So that's basically it. If you have good friends, they are like most likely to have that goodness rub off on you or inspire you to be a good person as well. But if you have a bad character, bad character friends, most likely to rub off on you as well, even though you are genuinely a good, kind-hearted person, but just because of the company that you surround yourself with, it's, you're most likely to end up like them. Not always, but sometimes. So which is why it's best to avoid those situations in most cases. And also the same applies with bad habits. So avoid any bad actions, bad habits, or anything like that, because they'll stick on just like isinama, just like isinama. And then isinama ndokunamathela. After isinama ndokunamathela, we have alichoni lingenandaba. Alichoni lingenandaba. Ukuchona is to sink. Ukuchona is to go down. Indaba are news. Indaba is gossip. So this means the sun never sets without fresh news. There's always something new under the sun. So and then we have this one. This one says kuhla ngamqalamnye. Kuhla ngamqalamnye. Kuhla ngamqalamnye. Ukuhla is to go down. Ukuhla is to climb down. Ukuhla is to get off. Yehla emotweni, get off the car. Yehla emtini, climb down the tree. Okay? Ukwehla is to climb down or get off. So there's a saying here. It says umqala. If you watch my videos, you should know umqala by now, because I always say into yami yokufaka emqaleni, into yami yokufaka emqaleni, into yami yokufaka emqaleni, meaning my neck piece. Umqala is a neck. Umqala is a neck. When you say ihlangamqalamnye, it's all throats all alike. Throats are all alike in swallowing. Throats are all alike in swallowing. But I get why they would say mqalamnye, but a throat is obviously not a neck. Duh. A throat is uqoqoqo. So you would say kuhla ngoqoqoqomnye, kuhla ngoqoqoqomnye, but umqala is basically mean. And I would say, if I were to translate it, I would say it all goes down the same neck. It all goes down the same neck. That's basically the direct meaning of it. So can you please explain what this proverb means? This proverb is used when one asks another for anything and implies, if you do not give it to me now, I will not give it to you when I have anything that you would like a share of. So it's more like izandla ziyahlambana, hands wash each other. You do this for me, I do that for you. But I wouldn't really say that. Like, if I were to say kuhla ngamqalamnye, I would say it doesn't matter what you do or how you do it, it all goes down the same way. Like, even if you're eating food, you're eating nice food, you're eating bad food, it doesn't matter, it's still gonna go down the same throat, in the same neck. Okay, so in this case, I would say it means that it doesn't matter what it is that you do, what you do to them, they will do to you. If you don't want to help them, they won't want to help you, because it all boils down to the same. You know what I mean? I don't know how to put it. What was I even trying? Let's just forget about it and move on to the next. Okay, it's obviously noisy right now, so I think I should read the last one, and after the last one, call it a video. The last one I want to read is kukuza kukanxele, kukuza kukanxele, kukuza kukanxele. Okay, there's a bit of background to this one. Have you watched this video of mine? I was talking about African kings and queens, but like I had explained in the video, I had asked ChatGPT to tell me more about African kings and queens to see if ChatGPT has any knowledge about Africa, And then ChatGPT let me down. It let me down. I was asking ChatGPT to tell me about African kings and queens, and then it started telling me about Nongqawuse, and I was like, Nongqawuse does not really qualify as a king or a queen, and I was expecting ChatGPT to name such iconic Xhosa leaders like Unxele. Who is Nxele? There is a man called Makhanda kaNxele. Makhanda kaNxele. That's the type of information you don't learn about at school. So my grandmother would tell us stories, a lot of stories. I even heard about Nongqawuse from my grandmother. I never learned about her at school because we don't learn such history at school. You just learn that there was apartheid. Mandela went to prison, and then he came back, and then he said we should all be united, we should all be one, and that's just about it. You're done with South African history, of which it goes beyond that. A lot of things went down back then, and one of those being Nongqawuse and what she did. I suggest to check out that video to see what Nongqawuse did. But for now, we're talking about Nxele. I actually want to make a part 2 of African kings and queens where I speak about Nxele and other iconic leaders. So I'm gonna summarize everything, but trust me, this is just me putting a blanket over something that's bigger, and maybe you can read more about it on your own, or just wait until I do the part 2. But basically, back then, South Africa was colonized by the British, and the British were slowly moving and making their way to other parts of the Eastern Cape, traveling along East London to King Williamstown, to Grahamstown, and on all the other places as well. Okay. So as I was saying, Makhanda kaNxele as a man, a South African iconic leader, or history figure who was born and raised, or he was either born and stayed or raised in Grahamstown, formerly known as Egini, Grahamstown, Egini. But then now names of Xhosa places with English names were changed to different names. They were renamed. So Grahamstown, which was known as Egini, has been changed to Makhanda, and I'm pretty sure a lot of younger generation don't know that, why it is now called Makhanda. It is called Makhanda because of Makhanda kaNxele. What did Makhanda kaNxele do? Why is Grahamstown named after him? Well, when the British colonizers were slowly moving along from East London to Grahamstown to colonize and unaliving a lot of Xhosa people, taking their cattle and taking their land, Makhanda, who is from Grahamstown, was like, the word on the street is that they are coming from Grahamstown. They want to take over Grahamstown as well. We cannot let the British colonizers take over our war so that they could go out in war with the British colonizers. So the men in what is now known as Makhanda, they were preparing for war, and then they went to war with the British colonizers, and then unfortunately they lost to the British. Physical war, they lost. Some of the men were unalived, and some of them were taken and imprisoned. So anyone who was fighting apartheid or who was fighting against the British colonizers was either unalived or taken to prison. The prison was in an island called Robben Island. Robben Island, just like its name, is an island surrounded by the ocean. So if you try to escape that prison, the only way to escape is to swim from the island back to land in the Western Cape. So they would be taken to Robben Island, and so Makhanda, some of the men lost their lives, and Makhanda, along with other men, were taken to Robben Island, and a lot of people had a lot of faith on Makhanda. He was a very wise man and a very motivational and inspirational man, and he was also a doctor or a healer as well, based on his parents as well being traditional healers. So what I find strange is that his father was called, what was it called, Gwala or Magwala or Gwala, which means coward. But when I was doing a video about South African clan names and their history, I read a clan name which had Magwala on it. So if your clan name has Magwala on it, you are related to Makhanda Kanele. And I was like asking myself when I was doing that video, and I did verbalize it as well. I was like, Magwala, why would anyone be called Magwala? Now that I'm remembering Ngele's father was Magwala, it's like, okay, maybe this is why. It's because your forefather is Mangele and Mangele's father. That's why you are called Magwala in your clan name, which means coward. Why was he named coward? His father, I have no idea, but he lived to the opposite of being a coward, obviously. And Ngele means left hand. Ngele is left hand, which also is kind of weird, because in Ngele, your left hand is weaker than Ekunene, which means the right hand. Ngele is like a weaker hand to the right hand, but I'll make a video about it to explain everything. Sometimes you have the left hand to of this and this and this and that. I don't want to confuse you. Let me just focus on this. So Makhanda Kanele was taken to prison, and a lot of people had a lot of faith in him, and because of how he carried himself, and he was speaking up, a lot of people trusted him. And he would say in some of his speeches that we will fight for our land, we will get our land back, they will not conquer us, I will not leave you, I will not forsake you, I'm here for you, I will fight for our land, I will fight for you. And then the other people like, yes. So they were like, yeah, he's gonna get our land back. So he was sent to prison, and whilst he was in prison, one day, along with about 30 other men, they escaped from prison. So when they escaped from prison, they had to swim in the ocean in Robben Island to get back to land. And as they were swimming, he got tired because it's a long swim. So a lot of people who tried to escape prison, the chances of them making it to land was very slim. So you'd escape only for you to die in the ocean. You know what I mean? So Manqele Unqele, the sun is just rising, so the lighting is, yeah. So Unqele, Makhanda Kanqele didn't make it. He drowned in the ocean along along with many of the men who escaped, and only about 4 of them made it, swam back to land. So when they swam back to land and returned back home, they went to tell others that unfortunately Mele didn't make it. He drowned in the ocean, and the people, because they trusted and believed him and put him on such a high pedestal, like a god in a way, they didn't believe that he died. They said, no, we do not have evidence of that. His corpse, where are they? There's no evidence. So chances are maybe you left him behind and he didn't die, and he made it to land as well. And besides, he said he will not leave us, so he's going to return. He's going to return. He's going to return. So this idiom is based on that. Ukuza kukanxele. Ukuza is to come. Ukuza is to return. Kuka meaning of. Nxele is makanda kanxele that I was telling you about. So when you're saying kukuza kukanxele means the coming of Nxele, the coming of Nxele. So our ancestors were like, Nxele is coming back. Nxele is coming back. No, we refuse to believe that he died in the ocean. He will return. He will return. He didn't get unalived in the ocean. Such a strong man get unalived in the ocean. No way. He's still swimming back to us. So they were waiting for his return from the ocean. And if you believe that, so what does it mean if you believe that? If you believe that, the saying implies anything long expected but which never occurs. It is now a general use, though it is only a few years standing. So yeah, I would say it is when you truly believe that something is going to happen, even though it will never happen, but you have like faith and belief that it is going to happen, but it isn't going to happen. Like, no, it's going to happen. No, it is going to happen. And it takes me back in the day. Like I told you guys, like we'd spend Christmas at my grandmother's house, right? And in our culture, if you watch my videos, you will know that I also made a video about this, how we celebrate Christmas. You can just Google how Africans celebrate Christmas or something like that, and I'll put a video about it here. So how Africans celebrate Christmas. So I explain everything. So one of our traditions to celebrate Christmas, because Christmas comes in summer, right? We celebrate it by going to the beach. But if you're a kid, you don't go to the beach on Christmas. You go to the beach before Christmas or after Christmas. But if you're an adult, you can go around Christmas or on New Year's. But kids never go on New Year's because it's packed with a lot of people, I tell you. So, my dad would promise us, like, I'm gonna take you guys to the beach on the 26th, which is the day after Christmas. And we would go to the beach on the day after Christmas, on the 26th. That's what we would do. So on some Christmas, my dad's would promise that he will take us to the beach on Christmas Day, on the 26th, which is the day after Christmas. So he's working. So he drives to work, and then he comes back. So on the 26th, sometimes he'd be on leave. Like Christmas is definitely on leave, but on the 26th, he'd be working at times. So I had so much faith and belief in him that he's gonna take us to the beach. If he said he's gonna take us to the beach, okay? So he'd promised that I'm gonna take you to the beach. So we would dress up, wear our clothes, and sit on the couch and wait for my dad to take us to the beach. And we'd be sitting there, and then my dad is still at work. Now it's like he'd go take us to the beach around like 8 o'clock in the morning, and then around 3 o'clock would come back home. So I'm like, it's now 12 my dad hasn't come back from work to take us to the beach. And then my cousins and my other sisters would be like, okay, it's now 1 o'clock. Obviously, we're no longer going to the beach. They would change from their nice clothes and wear the clothes that we wear when we're at home. Because in our culture, I'm not sure about other people. Like, you have like fancy clothes that you wear when you're going out, and we call those impahla zokuhamba, which means the clothes that you wear on special occasions or for going out. And then we have what we call impahla zokuhlala ekhaya, which means the clothes that you wear when you're sitting at home, so you like the older clothes, but the newer ones, when you want to look fancy, so we'd get Christmas clothes and New Year's clothes. So we would wear our nice clothes for going to the beach, and wait for my dad to come pick us up. The reason why, so my dad wouldn't tell us that he will not come this time around because he's really busy at work. He can't take us to the beach. He will return only after from work. So he would just keep quiet, because if he says that, we're gonna cry. I'm like, no, but we want to go to the beach. So he'd be like, yeah, I want to take you guys to the beach. We're like, yes. So after 1 o'clock, my cousins would be like, yeah, we're never going to the beach. Let's just change back to impahla zokuhlala ekhaya, which means let's change back to the clothes that we wear when we're playing outside and whatnot, and take off these new Christmas clothes off, because we obviously are going to the beach. It's 1 o'clock already. They would leave, and I would be sitting there on the couch and saying, my dad said he's taking us to the beach. So my dad is taking us to the beach. I'm sitting here and I'm believing that we're going to the beach. And then I sit there and wait. It's still 5 o'clock. My mom's like, girl, you know that it's like 5 o'clock. You're no longer going to the beach. I think it's time to take off your clothes and go play with your sisters and cousins. And I'm like, no. I did ask my dad, and I was like, do you really, really mean it that we're going to the beach? And he said, yes, my child, I will be taking to the beach. So I would fall asleep on the couch up until the next day, waiting for my dad to take us to the beach. And then by the following day, you're a kid, you already forgot about that. And then I've fallen asleep on the couch, and then when I wake up, I'm already in my PJs, because my mom has already changed me when I was sleeping. And I wake up in my bed, and I wake up and I change, I go play outside. Forgot about the fact that I was supposed to be taken to the beach. But during the day, I'm like, I'm not leaving. My dad is taking us to the beach. I'm not leaving this chair. I'm staying here up until we go to the beach. So yeah, so once again, my grandmother would be like, yo, ulinde ukuza kukanxele. When that happens, ulinde ukuza kukanxele. And once again, it's one of those things as a kid, I didn't understand what she meant by that, because I'm like, ulinde ukuza kukanxele, what do you mean, grandma? And I didn't get it at the time, and I didn't bother. But as older you get, you're like, grandma, you always say ulinde ukuza kukanxele, what do you mean? And then that's when she would tell me about the story of Makhanda Kanxele, and that's how I got to find out about it and what it actually means. But at school, never learned about that. And I'm pretty sure none of my cousins and siblings know about Makhanda Kanxele, because they were busy playing outside and being kids, and I was like sitting on the couch waiting for my dad. And my mom is like, it's like 5 o'clock. Can we change back to your impahla zokuhlala ekhaya? Me, no. My dad is coming. My grandmother, ulinde ukuza kukanxele. So yeah, waiting for something that you clearly can tell is never gonna happen. Like going to the beach on some Christmases, and sometimes, most of them, he made it, and we did go to the beach. So maybe that's why I was like, he's still coming, because it's something that happened most of the time. So I can't say he's not gonna come, because most of the time he did come, right? Yeah. That's one thing I find weird about my character. But anyway, it's not about me, it's about you going to sleep. Why are you still up listening to me talking about Makanda Ukanqele, Ulinda Ukanqele? So yeah, ChatGPT spoke about say instead of talking about the likes of Makanda Kanqele, his story is really fascinating. I'll definitely talk about him on part 2 of African Kings and Queens. That is going to be it for today's video. I think it's time for me to end the video here. We started on the other side and then we came here, and then the sun goes up and down, up and down, up and down. But I hope you enjoyed watching today's video and you learned a thing or two about Xhosa idioms and common Xhosa proverbs. And if you happen to be watching this video till now, can you please tell me something? You say, he's gonna come. And my mom says, he's not. Girl. Anyway, I think I should end the video here. Hope you enjoyed watching. Have a great day or night wherever you are in the world. I will catch you on the next one, hopefully with the black background once again. Bye.